I've got to say, I did think that new Bond film is wonderful. I thought it's my favourite film, apart from Russia with Love, of all the Bond movies. That's great.
Oh, I'm thrilled that you should say that.
He was marvellous too, isn't he?
Isn't he? Isn't he wonderful?
I mean, all that stuff about him beforehand. I mean, it was balmy, wasn't it?
Before he'd even done one shot in the film.
I know.
How did he get on and do it? He did it with great wit and
style.
And style.
And he's a good actor.
Fun. He's a very,
But then if you'd seen him
actor.
before, and he's not the first time he's appeared in public, I mean, you'd know he was a good actor, so what was all the hullabaloo about?
I know, well, I think probably because we're so proprietorial about Bond, aren't we?
Yes,
that we think everybody has a different idea of what he ought to look like, and if somebody doesn't fall into that category, then, you know, they're up for kind of criticism. It's wrong, though, isn't it?
Pierce Brosnan was your Bond, wasn't he?
He was, he was.
Four out of
we were,
5.
yes, we were new together in GoldenEye.
What's the difference?
Well, the difference between the two is, of course, that they're two totally different actors. Yeah. And both of them self-deprecating, both of them with a great sense of humour, and that's the most important thing of all. Yes. If you have a sense of humour, you can laugh at yourself and not take yourself too seriously. Oh, yes, and yet do a serious job, you know.
Yes. But what about when comics make feeble jokes about you, about the way you speak and things like that? Should you laugh at that, do you think?
Sorry?
About comics at the moment.
What a good woman you are, Dave.
You're a lovely woman.
We don't say rude things about each other, do we? We speak about Shakespeare.
Yes, we do.
Oh, do we?
We did a programme.
Brush up your Shakespeare. Carry on.
No, I don't know the next line.
No, me neither. I was just singing the first line.
Let's talk about this new film of yours, because, I mean, it's a very, very powerful film and a very powerful performance from you. You play, it's an extraordinary character that you play. I mean, she's very, very unlikable, and yet you feel a kind of sympathy for her, don't you? She's this spinster school teacher who's respected at school but not loved. And to the school comes Cate Blanchett, who's an art mistress. And she does something which puts her in the power of your character, and the film is a development from that on what happens. I should imagine when you read that, you read the book first of all, which is taken.
I did.
You must have thought this part is marvellous, a good meaty part.
Yes, I read the book when I didn't know, I don't read a script, but I read the book beforehand. Geoffrey Palmer gave me the book, I think, and I read it some years ago, but it never occurred to me that it was going to be a film.
Yes.
So then when it came up, and Patrick Marber was adapting the book, and Richard Eyre, who I love working with Richard, was directing it. And then I heard it was going to be Cate Blanchett playing the school teacher. I found it irresistible to do. Yeah. But hard.
Hard in what sense?
Really hard. Well, a lot of it takes place in a school. And I have a kind of phobia about school children. I'm still quite frightened of a lot of school children together. And
why?
I don't know. I've just always had it. Was one of those things. You know?
When you were
frightened of school children?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Frightened of school children?
Yes. Well, don't please give me such a hard time. I am now quite frightened of school children. Yes. But this was a very, very, very quite a tough school in the north of London, and I was frightened of them all. And we made such good friends there that the children were just wonderful. Really helpful and wonderful.
What about the look of the character?
Yes, it's not attractive, is it?
It's
not the kind of girl you'd ask around for tea.
No, it's very unglamorous part.
Or anything else, really. Certainly not anything else.
And this is part of her problem, isn't it? That she is lonely. That she has this great wall of loneliness around her, which people don't perceive, really. They just see her for this strong character at school that she is. But really, you're a very vulnerable and lonely person.
Well, you've got to kind of make a sense of somebody. And I think if we must all know people who are lonely and don't have anybody, you know, never have a kind of affection. I think somebody said to Zoe Heller, what is the greatest thing she would have wanted, really? And she said to share with this woman and probably wash her back in the bath. And I thought, that's very interesting. That's desperately sad. And there is a line in it where she says, you know, that people don't realise that, you know, I think she says something like in the bus, that just the touch of the bus conductor or whoever it is hand completely sends a jolt right to your inside, just for some kind of great, you know, kind of physical kind of warmth or affection.
Well, that's right. Well, I mean, I suppose every human being has that capacity to think of that in their own life, don't they? I mean, some more than others.
Yes, I think that's true.
I mean, in your case, when Michael died, I mean, you must have been lonely after that, and that would be part of the thing, the reservoir, would it be, you drew on when you did the part?
I suppose there was a bit of that in it, yes. I always thought so wonderful to have a happy marriage, and it's so dreadful when it finishes.
Yes.
It's, you know, and I'm not saying it's more dreadful than it is sometimes, you know, with people who just lose somebody they've not known for a very long time. You know, it's just as dreadful, that. But I think the thing of going so solitarily through life, and I mean, you know, we have a lot of friends, thank God.
Yes.
And that's what...
And
That's what is the redemption of everything.
Exactly, and you have the job too, and all that sort of thing. And that.
Yes.
But let's look then. We've talked about this character now, so let's see the situation now. The situation is that you've more or less insinuated yourself into this teacher's family. And Bill Nighy, who plays her husband, is not well pleased at the sight of you. You've gone to the vet, who tells you your cat has to be put away. And let's pick up the scene there. Here we are.
It's my child. It's my son. He's just a little boy.
Don't play the good mother with me.
Excuse me, ladies. Could one of you tell me what's going on? Is this some kind of coven?
I can explain perfectly. Would you like me to?
No, it's just a bath had some very bad news about her cat.
My condolences. Poor, poor pussy. Now, can I have my wife back, please?
I don't like your tone.
Why is she always here? What kind of fucking spell has she cast on you?
You don't see an awful lot of the cat, though we did do a lot of filming of the cat. And this cat was very, very nice, and I got very used to it. Very, very nice cat. And then one day I got there, and there were 2 cat baskets. And I said, what is that other cat? And they said, that's the stunt cat. And then about 2 days later, we did a shot, and Richard said, OK, Judy, you can sit down for probably about 20 minutes, as this is when the cat looks at you and runs towards the door, and then stops and looks back at you and pauses and snarls. I said, have we got till September for this? The stunt cat never arrived. Well, he never appeared, because the cat we were acting with was about this size, and the stunt cat was big.
You can't be a little stunt cat, you got to eat. Jump off buildings and stuff.
Swing on cranes.
How much time did you spend deciding on the look of the character there?
We spent quite a long time, actually. I had an argument with Patrick Marber, because they said, you know, I said, I hope this flat's not going to be too dingy. Because they said she lives in a very dingy flat, and at one bit, Sheba ruffles through her drawers and goes through her grey bras and pants. I said, this woman doesn't have to grey bras and pants and a dingy flat. You know, she's got a good job, and why should she have that? Anyway, it wasn't so dingy, and they weren't so grey.
It's interesting that becomes important to you playing the part.
Yes, the look. I mean, it's one of the only parts that I've ever, at the end of the day, been very, very, very glad to leave, kind of hanging up in a trailer, that terrible wig and that terrible look. Not attractive.
Not attractive at all, my dear.
Not
no.
in the slightest.
No. But now, of course, now you're off to Stratford. You're at Stratford, and you're in a musical, The Merry Wives of Windsor, the musical.
Please come and see it, with Simon Callow and Alistair McGowan and a lot of good friends.
You sing in it?
Oh, yes. Try and stop me. Yes. 3 good songs.
What are they?
One... Well, it won't mean anything to you.
Well, can you just sing me a little bit?
No, I can't sing you any. You've
on.
got to wait till the single comes out.
Oh, I see.
Is it a 12-inch?
You bet.
And Stratford have don't ignore.
Don't even start.
Don't ignore.
God damn!
And then you'll go Stratford, where, in fact, you spent many, many happy years with Michael when you were with the part of the company there.
Yes,
that must bring back great memories for you there.
It does bring back great memories, and what is lovely is that we're going to be doing this musical before the old theatre closes.
Yeah, that's right.
Before they do the alterations.
Yes.
And there are some things that are going to be kept about the theatre, but many things that are going to be changed. But we're going to be the very last night that we play will be the last night in that theatre.
That's wonderful.
Which, you know, for years I went in the 50s and saw Michael Redgrave and Peggy Ashcroft and Marius Goring and Paul Robeson. And, you know, I love the thing of continuance.
Yes.
That somehow, you know, you know that within those walls, all that has happened and all those people have been.
Yes.
And you're lucky enough to be part of it.
Part of it. Are there any particular memories that you have of being there, of playing there?
I remember with Ian McKellen playing Macbeth up there.
And you played Lady Macbeth.
I did, but not in the big theatre. That was in the other place, you know, when it was just a corrugated iron roof and a lot of cracks and wind coming in through places and everyone sitting around. And a very good thing happened, that Roger Rees broke his ankle. And we had no understudies for Macbeth. And Roger Rees was playing Malcolm. So, because it was so heavily booked, that we decided that we'd have to do it. So we somehow adapted it so that he came on in a wheelchair. And we all sat round in this huge circle at the beginning. And he was pushed, and he was just gently pushed on. And then Griffith Jones, who played Duncan, was helped by two people up into the middle of this circle. And then one of the witches, Susie Dury, used to drag her foot slightly and dribble slightly. And she pulled herself around. And as Mari Keane, who played one of the witches, passed me, she said, "It's the Lord's production."
You've not done pantomime, have you?
Pantomime? No, I've never, ever done.
Pantomime.
Is he obsessed?
I don't know what's the matter with him tonight. I don't think they're giving him pills or
McKellen
anything
has.
tonight.
What was that about pills?
I'm just saying that you might not have had your medication tonight. Are you going to do pantomime?
I'm doing
You're going to do pantomime,
I'm in
Michael?
pantomime at present in Windsor, the Theatre of Windsor.
Are you?
I'm the man in the mirror. I'm the voice of reason in the mirror. You know when the
Twice nightly, this?
Twice nightly. You know Snow White?
Yes.
When she asks the mirror,
Yeah.
who is the fairest of them all, I'm that face.
And do you go, it's not you. Well, do you say, what you need to do, before we go any further, Snow White, have you thought of doing pantomime? You say that to her.
Don't laugh at him. It will only encourage him.
Right.
Now, what I want you to do, would you please be my star, helping me in this? In other words, what I'd like to do is, I'd like to say, mirror,
Very, very nervous.
mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all, when I tell you.
Oh.
And then we're going to do it.
And Lenny's.
No, it must be.
Well,
I'm not in
Lenny's,
this.
I don't know about Lenny's.
This is your bit, love. You carry on. I'll be over here. Right.
Are we ready?
Yep, you can.
Yeah.
This is a great moment, this, for me. It really is. I'm starting with Dame Judi Dench.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?
You, O Queen, are fair as true, but Snow White is fairer still than you. Trying to thwart your evil aim, she hides in the forest with 7 friends, safe in a cottage all day and all night, far from your clutches and out of your sight. Oh, dear.
That's a very, very big part.
Thank
and
you.
you're reading it. I can tell.
Oh, no.
Are you a lady or a man?
Don't open that bag of worms now. You've managed to convince us all over the years, Judy.
Notes? Any notes?
Oh, no, notes.
No.
Any notes?
No.
That one.
Oh, my God. I did that. That's for my grandchildren. He said he lied. He'll probably never speak to me again. They're running horror from me. Oh, there we are.
Are you really doing pantomime?
It's in the... they would have had a hologram, but they couldn't afford it. No, it was... it's something very silly.
It's just as easy to get him down here and do it.
That's right. Dame Judy, all the best with Mistress Quickly.
Thank you.
How long does that run for? At the,
It runs at the Royal Shakespeare Company till, I think, February the 10th.
Sometime.
Is that a Saturday? I think.
Great.
Yes.
Wonderful. You love it. It's very nice. It's very nice. Dame Judy Dench.
Great.
You look amazing.
Thank you.
Very good.
You too.
Thank you. Eh? Golden oldies. Ah. Now, it's interesting reading about you because you've always got this milk toast and white bread stuff that's all been said about you. And that's been the image. And did you object to that at all?
I think I was just happy to have any kind of image, really.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure at times I would bemoan it and, you know, go, I wish I was taken seriously, as we all do when we're really young. But looking back, I'm just very grateful that I had any kind of success and image. And, you know, since then I've kind of done things to eradicate that a little bit, I think.
Well, was it difficult actually resisting temptation when you came to England? Because it was the 60s, the swinging 60s, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and all that sex, drugs and rock and roll. Do you never sort of were tempted at all?
Which part of that are you
Any
asking
or
about?
three?
I think I avoided part of that. And I don't know, my friend Pat and I were a double act and we were touring around England as young girls in a little mini bus and seemed to manage to avoid all the drugs. I don't know, I know they were there, but we didn't see them. I think we had blinders on or something, but we managed to escape okay.
You played some fairly seedy clubs too, didn't you?
Oh, very.
Tell me about them.
Very. Oh, goodness. Well, my friend Pat, who was my partner, Pat Carroll, was signed to Bernard Delphine Agency, and they were sending her out on some jobs, and we decided to join up as a double act. And we went down to this club in London, and it was kind of in a basement, and it was called Raymond's Review Bar. I don't know for those in the audience who are old enough to remember this place.
We all know Raymond's Review Bar.
But we didn't know what it was. So we were just, you know, naive in our little pink mini skirts and went in and we noticed that there was a girl swimming around in a fish tank behind us, kind of just with a mermaid bottom on and nothing else. And we go, that's kind of strange. We didn't really think too much about it, being young and naive as we were. Did our show to a few men in raincoats, and that was about it. And then at the end of the show, Mr. Raymond came out back and paid us cash and said, thank you very much, but I don't think it's going to work out very well for you. So that was kind of the crummiest place we played. But it's kind of hilarious when I think about it now, that we had no idea what was going on.
But, I mean, then became this huge sort of superstar in the record and pop industry. And then became this huge film star. Did you ever want to be a film star?
I don't really think it was in my psyche. Singing was my thing. And I'd made a movie in Australia when I was about 16 where I just sang a song basically, but I did a movie and it wasn't great, and I didn't really have any great aspirations for films. I didn't really think about it. It was just music. So it all kind of happened in a marvellous way.
Well, how did you get Grease? Did you go for it? Did you audition for it? Did you say, oh, I must have that part, or what?
No, actually, I was kind of the reluctant Sandy because I met Alan Carr, who was the producer, at a dinner party. Helen Reddy, who was a fellow Aussie, who was kind of the first Australian lady to forge her way across into England and America. And Alan Carr was the producer, and he was at dinner. And he was looking for Sandy, and I guess he'd seen me and wanted to meet me. And I was very reluctant because I'd made another movie in England at Pinewood a few years before called Tomorrow, which was a space musical in a band that was kind of put together, a la the Monkees were put together. And it was a bit of a disaster again. So I thought, well, I think I'm going to leave movies out and concentrate on my music. Also, I was concerned because I was 29 and the role was for a 17-year-old. I look back now and I think, what the heck was I worried about? But at the time, I was freaked about this. So anyway, I said, you know, I'll consider doing the movie, but I'm not sure, and, you know, I'd like to do a screen test. So if you can get me a screen test with the leading man, and I like it, then I'll do the movie. So the leading man was John Travolta. So it worked fine.
And no John Travolta at that time.
No, he wasn't really known.
No, that's right, because
yes.
the film that made his name had not yet been released.
That's
I mean,
right.
he'd made it.
Yeah.
Let's be reminded, shall we, of
Okay.
this movie. Let's have a... I mean, can you account for the continuing cult thing around that film at all?
I do concerts, and in the front row there'll be little girls, 7, 8 years old, with their little poodle skirts and being Sandy, with their grandmothers who came to it the first time. It's really quite amazing.
How did you get into those trousers?
I wanted to ask that question.
Did you swallow a tapeworm? I mean, what? You were like...
I was really skinny. You know, I look at pictures of myself back then, and my sister and I were really, really both pretty naturally thin. And those pants did have a little stretch in them. They were from the 50s. They were made of that shark skin material. Now, I've still got them, actually. And I wouldn't dare try and put them on now, but they were quite an amazing fabric. And the zip had gone, so they had to stitch them into, I had to be stitched into them every day. So I didn't drink anything from morning till evening, just about.
And then, of course, you had this other extraordinary episode in your life when, was it the early 90s, when you had the diagnosis with cancer, with breast cancer. Your father died, your marriage broke up, you had your Koala Blue business venture went bankrupt. I mean, what else could happen to you?
Seems to happen that way, doesn't it? Things happen
well,
in
I don't know,
threes
does it?
and-
I mean, you're still here, you know.
Yes, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Tell me about when you were diagnosed as cancer, first of all. I mean, what was your feeling at that time? Was it shock, horror? What?
Obviously fear, which is the first feeling. Fear, denial, shock, all those things you go through. And especially the first few days before you really know, has it spread anywhere else? Or, you know, what is your diagnosis going to be? And then, you know, determination that I would survive this and get through it. But, you know, I had to go through surgery and chemotherapy first. But I had a young daughter, and that was really my main focus was, you know, I need to be here for her. And didn't actually tell her about it because my best friend had lost her daughter the year before to cancer, and that little girl was Chloe's best friend. So to her, cancer meant you were going to die. So we made the decision not to tell her about it. So that was difficult, but, you know, the right choice for the time.
How much do you think is the recovery not due to, but helped by the mental attitude, by the business about, you know, this is not going to get me?
Women who feel very alone at this time very often, and it's wonderful if you can get together with a peer group of other women who have gone through it. Like my doctor, my oncologist put me in touch with another woman who'd had the same treatment so that I could talk with her about what to expect. And
what did she say to you?
she said it's not as bad as you imagine it's going to be, and she was already 6 months on the other side of it. She'd finished her course, and just knowing that was helpful, that she'd survived it and got through. Because I had this fear, and I know other women have gone through this. At the time, I was too embarrassed to tell anybody, but I had the fear that they would put the needle in and I would die. I would be allergic to the chemotherapy, and that was a huge fear, you know. So to get through even the first one, I was like, yes, I got through the first one. And my friend Nancy, who had lost her daughter, who was incredible support to me at the time, took me to the movie. She said, we're going to do normal things and we're just going to go do normal stuff. And we went to a movie right away afterwards and went shopping, you know, girly stuff. And it was, you know, but like everything in life, all the difficult things you go through, they just make you stronger in the long run if you're lucky enough to survive them. So.
But at the same time, I mean, I did the catalogue there of the some things that befell you at the same time. I mean, the divorce happened as well, didn't it?
Yes.
I mean, and you come from divorced parents, and so you'd been, I suppose, aware of what could happen, so therefore being cautious about committing yourself and hoping that this was forever.
I waited to the last minute and still messed up. No, I did want to have a child, and I wasn't sure about marriage, so I kept putting it off, and finally did it. But, you know, there's no guarantees in life, and it just wasn't right. But, you know, we're still friends, and we raise our daughter together. Well, she's grown now, but we have raised her together, and it was just, you know, she was the gift that came out of that marriage.
I mean, and this question is meant the best possible way. I mean, do you need a man in your life?
Well, that's a very interesting question. I've never been asked that question before.
It's quite useful to have someone to take out the rubbish and things. It is nice.
It's very
nice. The cat litter tray, I hate that.
I think need is a very strong word. You know, I think that if you've gone through very difficult things and you find out that, you know, we come in alone and we go out alone in this life, and you survive things on your own, but it's wonderful to have someone that cares for you, and I know that I have a lot of love, and I'm very fortunate that way.
The problem is, of course, the successful woman, the career, and the career balanced against the man, the marriage, and the children, and all that. And that's the conflict that women have, isn't it?
It's tough.
Which, thank God, men don't have. It is tough, yes?
It's like the many-armed Indian goddess. You know, you're juggling. There's so many arms that you need.
I think it is it's a very difficult thing, because, you know, I'd like to have thought. I mean, when I was first starting out and I was, you know, a singer and came to England, I thought that I was going to have the white picket fence and the dogs and the children. And it didn't actually turn out that way, and my career became this kind of a force in my life that I really loved it. You know, I really enjoyed it. And when my daughter was born, I thought I was going to retire. And when I had cancer, I thought I was going to retire. And I think I'm going to retire every year. But there's always something. It's so stimulating and it's so interesting. And you were talking before about being creative. The creative force is a very strong force. It's hard to stop.
Yeah.
You know, eventually there'll be a time where I just can't do it. You know. But right now, I love it. It's fantastic, and I get to meet wonderful people and travel, and you know, it's a powerful drug.
But also, a truly strong man is never threatened by your
That's
success.
true.
A truly strong man will really love
Support
you
you.
for what you're doing, actually.
That's true.
Kelly Holmes is only the third woman in Olympic history to win a double gold medal. She's a national treasure and a hero. Ladies and gentlemen, our very own Kelly Holmes. Can I just... Gosh, they're heavy, aren't they? They're beautiful. Well done, girl.
Thank you.
Yeah. Amazing. You must be living a dream.
Totally. It's still so surreal to me, all of this. You know, I never ever expected kind of the response I've had coming back, and still very overwhelmed by it all.
It's only just beginning, basically.
I think so.
And, of course, we provide the clothes today, because you don't have any, do you? They're all back in Athens.
Yeah, well, my clothes are in South Africa, and I've been living out of my bags for, 5 months. And all I've got is a pair of jeans, pair of combat trousers, and the rest of it's sports kit galore. So I was panicking today. I was thinking, I cannot come on the Parkinson with Tom Cruise. No way. I'm Billy, of course. Give him back his chopped liver.
No, it's absolutely stunning. Did you, like the other two, did you dream of doing this when you were a young person?
Yeah, since the age of 14, I had two dreams. One was to go in the British Army, and the other one was to be Olympic champion. And I've had a long career. I mean, I've been going as a senior since for 12 years now. Had a lot of ups and downs, and but always lived with my dream. And I always had this kind of burning desire to keep going for as long as I can, so I don't ever regret my career. And finally, 20 years later, it came not only once but twice.
Did you? Did you at any time just feel like giving up? Do you think it's not going to happen? This is stupid having this dream.
Yeah, I mean, emotionally, it's been a total roller coaster. You know, when something means so much to you, and you know, some people say it's obsessiveness or whatever, but it just meant so much to me to achieve my goals and my ambitions. And you know, when I've been at the lowest, I just wanted to throw everything away and just think I can't pick myself up anymore. You know, I've had so many injuries. I mean, you name it, I've probably had it as an athlete. And but like I say, there's always this one nagging thing in my heart, like, just don't give up. Don't give up. And so I fought back and fought back and fought back. Yeah. And, you know, been an emotional wreck most of the time, but I got through it.
It's inspiring what you've accomplished. I mean, to be able to do that is have a goal and to work so hard, because you can't...
There's a lesson there for everybody, isn't
there?
Yeah, that's a great thing about it.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Really mean that.
Yeah. And you realise, of course, you're in the presence of two great athletes.
Oh, well, I know.
Greco-Roman wrestler, and this man here, a cyclist.
As soon as they make picking up the tab an Olympic event,
then they'll start going for the
I'm
Olympics.
a gold medal straight away.
They haven't doing everything else, so you never know.
Then you'll be right in there, right?
Drugs at the Olympics. And it's a shame it's like steroids and all that. It would be great if it was marijuana, wouldn't it? See people clattering around and then stop and going, gee, look at that light. Whoa.
I think that actually, because Kelly, you are now part of you have been part of the British Olympic bid, to bring the Games here in 2012. You should call up Mr. Connolly. I mean, with what he's had his views on the Olympics. I mean, yeah, you heard.
Well, when they have banjo, he'll be marching for the country.
Well, just remember that athletes have given drugs a bad name.
If Billy actually represented the case, I feel a lot more confident that we'd actually win it. I really do. It might be...
I'll be the madman in the kilt that runs on.
Oh, dear. But the great thing about athletics and sport is that it engages all of us, doesn't it? Because it's something that one time or another in our lives we've all done. Not all been actors, we can't all be comics, but we've all tried to run. We all know how it is, and that's the great inspirational thing about athletics. That it has this kind of reaction in people that got you the standing ovation when you walked in. You see?
Yeah, and even this week I had a parade down my hometown in Tunbridge. And I was kind of worried that maybe there wouldn't be that many people out there because they'd made this big event. And, this is what nearly reduced me to tears. I was coming down my hometown, and there was people from the old people's home out and disabled people in wheelchairs and little babies and kids, and just, it was so overwhelming. And when I got to the town, apparently the police said there was 80,000 people there, and I mean, I just couldn't believe it. I was so gobsmacked. I mean, just little old me on this bus, and I was, 80,000 people, and just to see how much my performances may have touched people, for me, just my heart just goes like mad. It's just absolutely amazing. And like you say, it just affects everybody, and that's what's really nice.
Are you prepared for how it's going to change your life?
I still kind of can't come to terms with the amount of support that I've got, because when we were in Athens, we were kind of in a bubble. We didn't see any. I never saw any media that was around, and so I was very shocked about what happened coming over here. And I'm really excited of what's going to happen in the future, and looking forward to it. I'm expecting people to come out of the woodwork that don't even know me. Tom knows a lot about that there. Just expecting all these different things, but I can handle it now. At the end of the day, I've got what I wanted, and that's what matters, and I'll have a big smile on my face forever.
Well, keep it there. It's a wonderful achievement. Hello, my love.
Hello, chaps.
Are you all right?
Hi.
You know these
I'm
two,
very
don't
well,
you?
yes. I've stopped all that kissing business.
Have you?
Oh, it's very unseemly.
Really?
It's so undignified. And when you see physical revulsion in the eyes of those that you're looming towards, I think that's a cue, isn't it?
No, you don't say that too often, do you? You surely don't.
Well, I'm stopping it. I'm stopping all of that.
I'm quite right, too.
Saving it for home.
Yes, you're maturing, are you?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Tell me about this new film that you're in.
It's The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. It's the first book. And I am delighted to be playing Mrs. Beaver. Now, I'm just saying right at the beginning that I am ring-fencing that whole beaver taste area, OK? A bit like Cyrano, I've done all the jokes at home, yeah? I've done some you might have heard, many you haven't heard, so I am purged now. I'm completely clean, no innuendo whatsoever of that at all. Right. So, Mrs. Beaver, yes. And I give my beaver to Ray Winston's Mr. Beaver. I'm very happy about that.
Are you?
Yeah, very happy about
nice.
it. Yeah, he's brilliant.
I mean, I'm sad that it's animated and that you just voiced it, because I'd like to have seen you in your beaver costume.
Would you? Well, perhaps that's something we can organise. I mean, it was a strange job to do, I must say. But having seen the finished film, Andrew's done a remarkable thing, because it's a completely state-of-the-art technology. It's amazing technology, but that isn't what matters. It's really faithful to the book, and it's a proper, sweet, very simple story of real courage from these children.
It had better be actually faithful to the book, because, I mean, that's a book that has a lot of devotees who would, I suppose...
Absolutely.
...go and see to it if it wasn't...
Including me,
including you.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's have a interview playing a beaver with Ray Winston.
Yeah, we should do that.
We should. Let's have a look. Here we are.
But there is hope, dear. Lots of hope.
There's a prophecy.
It has long been foretold that 2 sons of Adam and 2 daughters of Eve will defeat the White Witch and restore peace to Narnia.
I think you've made a mistake. We're not heroes.
We're from Finchley.
Are you going to go to the premiere of this?
I am going to go to the premiere, and I have to say that's not my favourite kind of thing to do.
You don't like them?
No, I'm not good at big showbiz bashes. I'm extremely incompetent at them, actually.
In what sense?
Well, for instance, recently, Jennifer and I were out for supper, and a chap came over to us and said that he represented a big makeup company and that they had provided makeup for us for the French and Saunders show before, and that they could do with some help at a bash that we're having, a little bash that we're having the next night, that they didn't have enough people coming, and would we go along to, you know, bump it up a bit? And Jennifer just immediately went, no. And pretty direct like that. And I said, oh, do you know, don't think I'm going to be in town, but if I am, maybe. And, you know, that was all Latin for no, I can't go either, but I'm going to faff around a lot about it. Anyway, the next night I was in town, in Soho, and I'd finished work, and my car was at the BBC, which I mainly use as a car parking place.
Well.
Anyway, I came out of this place that I was working, and I was in my, you know, ordinary coat, no makeup, just my bag with some scripts in, and looking for a cab to get back to the BBC, which was about 4 miles away. No cabs, no cabs, no cabs. And suddenly round the corner comes a man on a rickshaw. And I was just sort of waving him past like that. And he said, oh, come on, Dawn, give a bloke a chance. Come on the rickshaw, you know, where do you want to go? I said, I'm going all the way to the BBC. You don't want to go that far, do you? And he said, no, hop on, do your deal. And I thought, oh. So I hopped on, and that's really such a mistake. I don't know if you've had a rickshaw experience.
They look terribly uncomfortable.
I mean, bless them, but this is the experience of going like this. All the way along like that. Because as the guy is pedalling, you are thrust like this. And plus, he is trying to talk to you over his shoulder, going, so, Dawn, how's it going? What's going on? Like this. And that draws everyone's attention to you sitting in the back there like the Queen of Tonga. You know, it's very, very embarrassing, very cold, very uncomfortable, and I thought, I've got to get off this rickshaw. And we'd gone about 100 yards, took about an hour to go that far. The guy was really failing in the front. And so I thought, no, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to nip into that party, because that's quite close, and I'm just going to get out of this rickshaw, go into the party, and come straight out and get into a cab. So I said, oh, do you know, I've had a thought. Go round this corner, there's a party going, I'm going to nip into there. So he went round the corner, and as we came round the corner, this was not a small party. This was 50 paparazzi with those great big laser lights going like this, and supermodels in backless dresses, and I'm on a rickshaw. And I've got no makeup on, and I've got my work coat on, and this is all right. So I'm walking up a red carpet completely by mistake. And I went into the party anyway. You know, I was glad to be off the rickshaw. Went into the party, and you end up talking to very tall, very young supermodels, and, you know, I'm on direct eye line with the full growler, and it's a really, really unattractive, unpleasant thing. And so I'm pretty sure the Narnia premiere won't be anything like that.
I hope not.
But I am going to go to that because I want to take my family to it.
Oh, they're going. I was asking
they're
how.
all gonna go.
I mean, is Billy just sort of impressed by you playing Beaver?
No, Billy is...
This is your daughter?
Yes.
She's a teenager now?
Who's 14. And she's notably unimpressed with anything I've ever done.
Is she?
Yeah. Yeah, she's got the kind of, whatever. You really, you know about this.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, she really doesn't care about... I don't think she even likes me very much, but there you go. But anyway, she's pretty cool at the moment, and I've noticed with her that she's at the age where boys are noticing her, which I'm fairly uncomfortable with that. And we went shopping the other day, and there was some boys hovering around. And bless them, she's so innocent, she didn't even notice it was going on, but they were making those kind of clucking, hissing noises around her, trying to get her attention. And I thought the only way to deal with this is to fend them off with a bit of strange behaviour. So, bless her, she was looking that way, and the boys were over here, and there was 3 of them in hoodies and everything. The boys were over here, so I just turned to them and decided it was best to be a sort of possessed dementor, sort of orc person. And I just turned to them very quickly and said, "Move away from the chosen one!"
Oh, God.
Haven't seen those boys.
No, I'm sure. What did Billy think of that, though? She wouldn't be pleased with that, I'm sure.
No, luckily she was unaware it was all going on.
Right.
It was right in their face.
Yeah. Because you did tell me once you're going to put her into lockdown. Lock her down in the cellar until she's 18,
till she's
you said.
45,
45?
Yeah.
I had a teenager problem. You've got teenagers, haven't you?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
I mean, what is the point of teenagers? I can never work them out. Why?
They're to make you feel worthless.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Now, what about this new play you're doing?
Yeah.
Yes, this starts in the new year, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm very excited and a bit afraid of it.
Alison Moyer?
Yeah. Alison Moyer's been a friend of mine for over 20 years, and we've often talked about what project we could do together. And Kathy Burke is involved with it. She's the director.
She's directing, yeah.
And she told me to check out a writer called Carmel Morgan, who writes on Corrie and wrote some of Shameless and stuff. And I spoke to Carmel for some time and said, the ingredients are me, Alison, and we just want to have a great time, want to go on tour, and but we want to do something that means something. And so, anyway, she had a story she wanted to tell about a mum who's got a degenerative illness, who's in a wheelchair with two daughters. One daughter's chosen to be the carer and stay at home, and the other daughter is a singer and has gone off to the Costa del Soles on the big karaoke circuit. And so it sounds like a bundle of laughs, doesn't it? But it does mean that Alison has written original music for it. So it's a play with music. It's quite a gritty play, but it's very funny, and I can't wait to start. And Kathy's directing it, and we're going to tour it for 6 weeks and then bring it into the West End in March.
Right. And also, too, and we're going to talk about this in just a moment, you're doing a documentary for the BBC about comedy heroes, about your comedy heroes.
I am, or heroines, actually, it is.
Heroines,
Yeah. I just wanted to talk to lots of funny women, so that's what I'm doing.
We'll talk about that in just a moment.
Okay.
Don't fret.